The world is full of buyers and sellers. It's economics. So I ask you, what are you selling? Because you're selling something. And I know you may say, well, Kendra, I ain't selling nothing. Yes, you are. You know what you're selling? You're selling fantasy because your image represents identity. So if you're not a harlot, why you dress like one? Nudity is not just a fashion trend. It's a demonic system to augment and distort the Most High's image, his original design. When you think of design, you think of concept or blueprint, something constructed for a specific purpose. So when you think of fashion design, you always have to ask yourself, who is the mastermind behind this design? Who inspired it and why? So today we're talking about the satanic agenda behind nudity in fashion. You see, because Satan is the god of this world and his grip is on the world system. And one of his tentacles is the fashion industry. It's the devil's program, the music, the fashion, the drugs, the sexual liberation movements. It's all a program designed to make you a slave to a system of whoredom that works alongside seduction, witchcraft, and idolatry. But you got to ask yourself, why does Satan want you naked? Why does he want women naked? And the answer is to corrupt the land. Where there's whoredom, where there's a system of whoredom, there's drugs, there's poverty, there's incarceration, murder, fatherlessness, abortion, dysfunction. Corrupt the women and you corrupt the land. Leviticus 19:29, it says, do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. See, Satan understands the power of a woman's influence, and that's why he targeted Eve first. And you have to understand the power of your influence because Satan does. And he will use that against you. He will exploit you and make you feel that in order to be beautiful, that you got to show your body parts off. But that's a lie. And Satan doesn't play fair. He'll use molestation. He'll use drugs. He'll use date rape. He'll use sex trafficking to get you and pull you into his system of whoredom. So in the world's culture, we see women wearing see-through clothing. We see the mini skirts, the low-cut tops, the mini dresses, all of the sexually provocative fashion trends. You're being exploited for the kingdom of darkness. You are like a walking advertisement, and he's using you as a billboard, as a pornographic billboard for his kingdom. When a woman shows her nakedness, what you're doing is you're promoting a culture of promiscuity and prostitution. See, the world is full of buyers and sellers. It's economics. So I ask you, what are you selling? Because you're selling something. And I know you may say, well, Kendra, I ain't selling nothing. Yes, you are. You know what you're selling? You're selling fantasy because your image represents identity. So if you're not a harlot, why you dress like one? You can't dress like a prostitute, then expect to be treated like a princess. You got to take your pick. You got to choose a side. Because again, your image represents identity. So what are you selling? And what are they buying? Ladies, we were made to represent the Most High's image, not bring shame to his name. You know, like some of our moms used to tell us, don't go out the house with your hair all over your head. Why? Because we represent her. We represent her. And that's the same way it is with our Heavenly Father. We represent him because he is the one who fashioned us. He is the one who designed us. So who are you representing? Are you representing Yah or are you representing Satan? Who is your fashion in devotion to? The kingdom of light or the kingdom of darkness? See, don't fall for the lie that says you got to show your body off to be seen or that you got to be sexual to be beautiful. And on the flip side, don't fall for the lie that says that you gotta wear dresses down to your ankles just to be modest. That's a lie too, because long dresses and head wraps don't make you righteous. You can be fashionable, stylish, and a trendsetter and still be modest. See, because set apart is the standard. Your fashion speaks before you do. So what is it saying about you? It's nonverbal communication. And if your goal is to be sexy, we got to look at that word sexy. Sex is the root of that word. Sexy means to be sexually suggestive or stimulating. So you want to be sexy? Well, let's look up some synonyms for the word sexy. Sensual, erotic, pornographic, nasty, lustful, obscene, lascivious, filthy, foul, vulgar, lewd, indecent, fetishistic, perversive. So tell me, do you still want to be sexy? Do you still want to be pornographic, nasty, lustful, fetishistic? You still want to be that? See, this is deeper than looking sexy or having the freedom of sexual expression. There are spiritual forces in operation. Just look at this Fashion Nova promotional email. It says, calling all sirens and enchanting echoes of the sea. Now, what is a siren? A siren is a demonic sea entity that's known to lure sailors to destruction with their alluring singing voices. Now, this is no mythology. This is real. And these are water spirits that are part of Satan's marine kingdom. And the choice of words that Fashion Nova is using in this promo, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence that the Starbucks logo is a siren, or that mermaids, Mami Wata, are in Disney movies to make little girls fall in love with the idea of being a singing temptress as they come under the influence of these seducing spirits. It's not a coincidence. It's a satanic agenda. But many do not know. Many do not understand. So they're walking about in spiritual darkness. These images are by design and they're hidden in plain sight. See, this isn't a flesh and blood fight, but we are fighting against principalities, against authorities, against world rulers of darkness, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenlies. That is what we're fighting against. We're fighting against evil entities in the unseen realm. Water spirits are influencing you to wear seductive clothing because seduction is in their nature. These spirits propagate lust, perversion, prostitution, pornography, sexual fantasy, exhibitionism, witchcraft, haughtiness, and rebellion all throughout society, and especially in the music industry. And they feed on your rejection, your hunger to feel validated, your hunger to feel desired. They feed on your low self-esteem, so you will go out there and debase yourself. They feed on your unhealed sexual trauma, so they can corrupt you, to use you to corrupt other people. It's a system of whoredom. Now tell me, have y'all noticed that there is a certain look in popular culture that is being promoted, that's very popular, and it's this manufactured Barbie look? That's a program. It's a program that's curated by the kingdom of darkness. So you got to know that Satan is a pimp who wants to control what you wear, so he can send you out on the blade to sell yourself as a seductress to capture men. He's using you. When you wear these seductive, revealing clothing, Satan is using you as an advertisement for his kingdom. Or are you promoting Satan's kingdom? So just like a pimp, he gives you a false sense of security, a false sense of liberation to keep you on a leash and under his control. It's mind games. He's playing mind games. And many of us ladies are falling for his mind games. We're falling for his player. We're falling for his Casanova. We're falling for that over and over and over again. We got to wake up and we got to learn our worth and love ourselves and walk in the identity, the true authentic identity that we were created for before we even entered into this earth. See, when you wear seductive, revealing clothing, you not only attract certain types of men, but you also attract certain spirits. And these spirits are on assignment to rob you blind of your identity, of your purpose, of your marriage, and your destiny. The devil don't like you. The devil don't like us. And he has a special type of hatred for women. You got to think about it. How did the Messiah come into the earth? Through the womb of a woman. There's a special type of hatred that the enemy has for the woman. So he don't like you. He don't like me. He don't like us. So stop letting him manipulate you into selling your self-worth. Stop letting him steal from you and rob you of your dignity and put some clothes on, because you are worth more than that. You are worth more than your body parts. You are worth more than somebody's fetish. So don't go out like that. How you dress is an expression from the nature you're operating from. It exposes what's in your heart. Mark 7:21-23, it says, "For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lewdness." Dressing provocatively is lewdness. An evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile a man. So when you dress in a lewd manner, what you're doing is you're really doing the devil's bidding, where he's able to use you as bait to entice. You're his seductress. And I know that's kind of hard to swallow for some women to accept, but that's just the reality of it. You become Satan's bait for him to use you as a temptress. It's not only a system of whoredom, but it's also a system of witchcraft, of seduction, manipulation. See, since the fall of man, nakedness represents shame. After Adam and Eve fell, they knew they were naked and tried to cover up their shame. Isaiah 47:3, your nakedness shall be uncovered. Yes, your shame will be seen. Because it's a shameful thing to expose yourself. But is it a cry for attention? Is it a cry for love? You're crying out for something, and it's costing you your dignity, your self-worth, your self-respect. So what are you crying out for? See, the enemy knows what you're looking for. He knows your voice. He knows your deficiencies, and he exploits those things to make you, like I say, a slave to his system of sin, of rebellion, of whoredom, of witchcraft. He would do anything to make you his puppet, his sex doll, his sex slave, even when you don't even realize it, because you don't have to actually sell your body to sell sex. You're selling fantasy. You're selling the fantasy of it when you dress in a provocative manner. So you gotta learn the rules of engagement. This is spiritual warfare. He got many women playing the seductress, and they don't even know it. And this goes for married women too. You playing dress up to become every woman just to keep your man eyes on you. But by doing this, you're feeding lust, and lust can't be satisfied. You will never feel good enough playing that game. You will never feel good enough, because you are not every woman. You are one woman, and that's you. You're not every woman. So stop trying to be every woman just to keep your husband from cheating. See, infidelity is still in his heart. And that's why he got you cosplaying different women to fulfill his fantasies from watching porn. It's a cycle of lust and perversion that plays right into Satan's system of whoredom. But like I said, sisters, we got to wake up. We got to wake up and really understand what it means to love ourselves, because many of us think that we love ourselves, but the truth of the matter is that we don't know what love is. And when you don't know what love is, that means that you're going to walk around society with a distorted expression of love. A lot of what we call love is really lust. A lot of what we call love is really idolatry. So we have to learn what love truly is so we can begin to learn and know how to love ourselves. We have to get the knowledge of truth so we can apply that knowledge of truth. And that is when the truth makes us free. So that's why many women right now are in bondage to Satan's system of whoredom, just by what they wear, just by what they put on when they go out in public, because they have become walking pornographic billboards for the kingdom of darkness. And this message is not to condemn, but it's to educate, it's to inform, it's to empower you, it's to help wake you up out of that slumber so you can realize what Satan is doing, how he is operating to steal, kill, and destroy you. Life is not a game. It's not a game. What's of high value and worth is not easily accessible. Showcasing your body parts to the world is not cute. It's shameful. It's a shameful thing to showcase your body parts to the world. Only your husband is supposed to see your body parts. No one should know what your breasts look like except for your husband. What's of high value and worth is not easily accessible. Remember that. You are more than your body. You are more than a sexual experience. You are more than a fantasy. You are more than that. Yah is your original designer, architect, and builder. He made you to be a woman of dignity. He made you to be a woman of class, a woman who radiates his splendor. And we got to unlearn what we have been programmed to be by society, by our childhood traumas. by the music, all this crazy music that's programming the minds of people. Well, we have been programmed to be by the media, by religious systems. We have to unlearn those things. We have to unlearn those pretenses, those false personas. And we got to relearn who we really are according to the Father. We got to unlearn and relearn. But it's worth it because you're worth it. When you are not walking in authenticity, you're walking in pretense. You're faking. You're parading your traumas. You're parading your hurts, your voids. So when a woman goes out showing her body parts, those with eyes to see can see through that. We can see the dysfunction. We can see the hurts. We can see that you don't have knowledge of who you are. That is what you're parading whenever you give into these sexually provocative fashion trends. Not only are you physically naked when you wear those clothes, but you are spiritually blind and naked. What will make you take your clothes off for the world to see? And like I said, this message, that question isn't to condemn you. It isn't to shame you, but it's to make you think what is really behind the facade that you're putting out to the world. What's really happening? What's really going on in your soul, in your emotions, in your mind? What is it that you're really looking for? What is it that you're really crying out for? You have to answer these questions so you can realize how the devil is playing on your hurts, on your wounds, on your voids. So what is your price? Is your price attention? They just got to pay you some attention and you'll show your body and you'll show your body parts. What is it? What's your price? State your price. But the goal is to get to a point where you don't have a price, right? To where you're not for sale. You're not going to prostitute yourself to the enemy. You're not going to prostitute yourself to the devil's kingdom. The way you like, I'm not for sale. There's someone who wants to clothe you with righteousness, and his name is Yahshua, our Savior, our Messiah. He wants to clothe you in righteousness. But guess what? You got to take off your ego. You got to take off the mentality of going your own way. You got to take off rebellion. You got to take off idolatry, all those things that will cause you to go out into the world exposing your body. You got to take that off so Yahshua can clothe you in righteousness, right? So he can clothe you in your supernatural beauty. You got to love yourself and you got to let your inner beauty shine forth. Shalom.